Back in the 7th century, during its golden age, China's Tang dynasty was arguably the most powerful and cosmopolitan empire on earth. Its capital, Chang'an, was a sprawling metropolis and the eastern end of the legendary Silk Road. It was a place where ideas, goods and people from all over the known world came together. It was an age of incredible openness and curiosity. So what if I told you that less than 20 years after the death of the Prophet Muhammad, his message had already reached the heart of this ancient empire? But this isn't a story of conquest, it's a story of trade, diplomacy and cultural exchange. This is the rarely told tale of China's very first Muslims. A powerful tradition within Chinese Islam tells of an official envoy sent to China in 651 CE by the Caliph Uthman, a close companion of the Prophet Muhammad. The story holds that the delegation was led by the Prophet's own maternal uncle, Sa'd ibn Abi Waqqas. Traveling the dangerous sea routes, they landed in the port of Guangzhou and journeyed to the capital, Chang'an, to meet the Tang Emperor Gaozong. Now, while modern historians debate whether Sa'd ibn Abi Waqqas ever personally made the trip, they do agree that this was the moment of first official contact between the growing Islamic world and the Tang court. In the decades that followed, dozens of other embassies from the Arab Caliphate would arrive. These weren't missionaries trying to convert everyone. They were diplomats and merchants drawn in by the stability and incredible wealth of the Tang Empire. They came by two main routes, the overland Silk Road through Central Asia and the maritime Silk Road connecting the Persian Gulf to the South China Sea. According to tradition, Emperor Gaozong was intrigued by this new faith. Anecdotes claim he admired Islam's teachings, but felt they were too strict for him to adopt personally. While that's a great story, what we know for sure is that he made a crucial decision. He granted the Arab and Persian travelers the freedom to practice their religion and to trade. This single act laid the foundation for a permanent Muslim presence in China. The first Muslim settlements didn't pop up in the political heartland, but in the multicultural port cities of the south. Places like Guangzhou, Quanzhou, and Yangzhou became home to bustling communities of Arab and Persian traders. And these early settlers were given a surprising amount of freedom, living in their own quarters where they managed their own affairs by their own customs. It was right here in Guangzhou that China's first mosque, the Huaisheng Mosque, was built. Its name means remember the sage, a tribute to the Prophet Muhammad. Tradition says it was founded by Sa'd ibn Abi Waqqas himself, and while the building has been reconstructed many times over the centuries, its famous lighthouse-like minaret still stands as a powerful symbol of this 1,300-year history. These early Muslims were mostly merchants, trading in spices, ivory and medicines, and in return they brought Chinese silk, tea and porcelain back to the West, enriching both civilizations. If you're finding this hidden chapter of history as fascinating as I do, take a second to like this video and let me know in the comments what has surprised you the most so far. What started as a network of foreign trading posts slowly began to change over the centuries. The traders started putting down roots, they married local Han Chinese women, and their children became the very first generation of Chinese-born Muslims. Through this mixing and integration, a new and unique identity was born. This process got a huge boost during the Yuan dynasty in the 13th century. The Mongol rulers, who had built a massive empire stretching from Asia to Europe, relocated hundreds of thousands of Muslims from Central and West Asia into China. These weren't just merchants anymore, they were skilled artisans, soldiers, scientists, and administrators brought in to help run the new empire. These people were called the Semu and were given a high social status, second only to the Mongols themselves. This mass migration cemented Islam's place in China. The communities, now spread all across the country, gradually adopted the Chinese language and many local customs. Over time, they became known as the Hui people, an officially recognized ethnic group that is culturally Chinese yet distinct in its Islamic faith. The story of Islam in China wasn't always smooth. The Anlushan rebellion in the mid-8th century weakened the Tang dynasty, and in 879, a horrific massacre in Guangzhou, led by the rebel Huang Chao, resulted in the deaths of thousands of foreign merchants. Yet through it all, the community survived. In many cases, their importance to the economy helped shield them from the kinds of religious persecution that other faiths faced. For over 1,300 years, Islam has been woven into the rich fabric of Chinese civilization. You can see it in the unique architecture of mosques that blend Chinese and Islamic styles, and in the influential roles Muslims played as generals, government officials, and even as the legendary Admiral Zheng He. It all started with just a handful of merchants and diplomats on the Silk Road who came to trade, not to conquer. They brought a faith that, against all odds, found a lasting home in one of the world's most ancient lands, creating a unique and powerful cultural legacy that continues to this day. The story of the first Muslims in China is a powerful reminder that history isn't just a series of conflicts, it's often a conversation. It shows how trade and simple curiosity can build bridges between different worlds, creating new identities that are richer and more complex than the sum of their parts. If you enjoyed exploring this piece of history, make sure you subscribe and hit the bell icon. That way, you won't miss our next video on the incredible stories that have shaped our world. Thanks for watching.